Now, Moscow has called on the regime of Colonel Gaddafi to stop killing civilians and observe the UN mandate in Libya. But envoys sent by Gaddafi to Moscow say they will meet these terms when NATO stops its bombing campaign. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov has been meeting the Libyan leaders' representatives right here in Moscow. And RT's Natalia Novikova has been following the talks. Now joins us live, and hi to you. So Moscow's been quite outspoken over the military action in Libya, criticising both sides of the conflict for going far beyond international law. What else have we heard from Russia's Foreign Minister?
Well, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov has said that he's had a rather productive dialogue with representatives of Libyan authorities. He's managed to convince them to follow the resolutions of the UN Security Council on creating safety zones in the country, on cooperating with the UN Security Council in distribution of humanitarian aid throughout the country to those who need it, also to follow the roadmap presented by the African Union, and as well as letting international observers in Libya to monitor how those resolutions are being fulfilled. Of course, Libyan leaders, in response to that, have said that they are willing to do so, but under their conditions. I believe we can now listen to what Foreign Minister Lavrov had to say on that.
Tripoli is willing to consider approaches based on the African Union roadmap for peace. They are ready to fully meet the requirements of the UN resolution only, but said it was necessary for the opposition to make similar moves and for NATO to stop bombing.
Well, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov has once again stressed that NATO's actions in Libya go beyond resolutions of the UN Security Council, and the only solution to the crisis is a non-military one. Another condition that Libyan authorities have said they're willing to fulfill the resolutions of the UN Security Council is for the opposition members to also sit down at the negotiation table. Now, the opposition members have said that they're willing to come to Moscow. They were supposed to come to Moscow tomorrow, but they postponed their visit. Nonetheless, they are going to come to sit down and to talk about what they have to do to find a peaceful solution, to establish a dialogue with the current Libyan authorities. And although Russia is not a mediator in this particular conflict, it strongly supports the roadmap presented by the African Union. And for more on what is the driving force of the opposition in Libya, here's this report by my colleague Gayana Chichikan.
Washington's perfect man in Libya, Mahmoud Jibril, the leader of Libya's Transitional National Council, lived and studied in the US for years. And on his latest visit to Washington, he didn't fail to show how devoted he is to American values.
We really believe and we really aspire that our message will get across to the American public that we are really here to join hands to build a democratic dream in the Libyan soil.
And Washington did join hands with those seeking to replace Gaddafi and take over power in Libya. To help prop them up, the U.S. pledged to funnel billions of dollars of Gaddafi's frozen assets to the Transitional Council.
I am currently drafting legislation at the request of the State Department and the administration that will authorize the transfer of available cash assets to the Council.
But the support from Washington comes not only in money and Tomahawk missiles, but also in military command. One of the commanders of the Libyan rebel army is General Khalifa Hifter, a longtime Gaddafi defector. He lived in a Washington suburb for the last 20 years, just minutes away from CIA headquarters, although any intelligence connections have never been officially confirmed.
At the moment, we have CIA operatives all over eastern Cyrenaica, CIA agents who were there even before Obama recognized it and who have been pouring into eastern Libya, working alongside French intelligence and British SAS as well. They are manipulating the agenda of this transitional council.
Some analysts say the U.S. is using the turmoil in Libya to propel to power people who would be loyal to their interests.
You look at this collection of Jibril, Jalil, Yunus, and Hifter. These people are foreign agents. They're NATO stooges. They're completely controlled, and they will never be able to assert any kind of independent autonomous Libya. The risks of the puppet regime are that this will degenerate into chaos.
A number of leaders who were propped up by Washington have faced popular discontent. In Egypt, Hosni Mubarak had been extensively supported by the U.S. for decades, despite domestic disapproval of his policies. Yemen has seen violent protests over the rule of its president, who many believe has managed to hold on to power only thanks to U.S. support. And the government of Hamid Karzai in Afghanistan has been struggling with public discontent for years.
The U.S. and its allies will go in to establish some sort of a regime that we approve of, but the process is not going to be a democratic one, and in the long run, the odds are overwhelming that the Libyan people will reject that regime.
Having clearly taken sides in the Libyan civil war, Washington is now seeking to forge strong ties with whoever might come to power there. But analysts say such an overwhelming support, financial, military, and political, never comes without strings attached. I'm Ganesh Chekyan reporting from Washington, RT.